Hi guys, can you guess what kind of drawing we're doing today? If you guessed upside down drawing, you're correct. But you don't have to be upside down to do it. Hi everyone, so this week for week 3 Fine Arts Drawing, we are going to be practicing upside down drawing. So again, we're not going to be upside down, but we're going to be drawing something that is upside down. Our picture will be upside down. Now I'll show you our timeline card that we're going to be referring to today or inspired by today. And I want you to observe and see what you see in this upside down picture. Now it's Columbus sails to the Caribbean. Now, what I see are some lines. I see some curved lines. Let's see, there's a curved line there on the boat, on the bottom of the boat. I see some lines, I think those are the oars, lines in the masts. I see the people. They've got some straight lines, curved lines, different lines. Now, when we look at it upside down versus right side up, we see what's actually there instead of what our mind wants to see. Now, I talked about that a little bit with our fox. Remember, we drew a line in the middle of the fox and it turned out his eyes were lower than we expected. Well, that happens when we're drawing people too. And it happens when we're drawing other things, that sometimes we think we know where something goes, but if we actually look at the picture, it's a little bit different than what our eyes were thinking they were seeing. So let me show you what I mean. I'm going to show you this picture, the Mona Lisa here. Now, if I were to just draw her face, I would be really tempted to put her eyes up high. If I were to draw an oval, I'd put them probably about here. And what I mean by that is when we think of a face, we forget to account for all this room up here on top. But if I put let me take this ruler here and show you. So oops, I want to get the centimeters. Her face is about 5 centimeters tall. Now, where do you think her eyes will be? Well, guess what? They're 2.5 centimeters. They're right in the center. So when we draw a face, we actually need to know to put a line in the center of our oval, and that's where the eyes are going to go. And it's not what we would think. When we tend to draw something, we tend to put the eyes up a little higher, and then when we get done, we're not sure why it doesn't look quite right. Well, that's why. So upside down drawing helps us to draw what we actually see, not what we think it should be. All right, so I want you to practice with your oils a little bit because we're going to be using those today. Now, you guys remember our open circle, our closed circle, our lines, our angled lines, and our curvy lines. Go ahead and take some time to practice that if you haven't already. And then I want you to pull out a piece of paper once you've done that. A blank piece of paper. Just going to have it nice and flat like that. No need to fold it this week. All right, now you guys can use a pencil or a Sharpie if you would like. I'm again going to use a Sharpie just so it shows up nice and bold for you guys here on the film. All right, our first step is going to be to draw some curvy lines. Now, we'll start like that, and we'll connect them and go all the way across. So like bump, 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 bump. All right, there's our curvy lines. Now our next step. We're going to use most of the paper here. So I'm going to draw one line. It's going to be an angled line going out that way and an angled line going out that way. And then I'm going to draw a straight line all the way across and another straight line. So my first straight line wasn't quite to the tip of my first angled line, so this one will be at the tip. It'll be all the way across like that. So I have those 2 straight lines. Now off the end of this side, I'm going to draw some angled lines like that. Kind of looks like a long rectangle. All right, and then over here, I'm going to draw a straight line here. And then in about the middle, I'm going to draw a straight line a little bit longer. And then here I'm going to draw a shorter straight line. And at the end, I'm going to draw another straight line. And then I'm going to connect these two last ones here. Inside of there, I'm going to draw some little squares. So angled lines like that. Okay. And then another line in the middle of that section there. Now, if I'm going too fast, feel free to pause at any time. All right, now I'm going to draw some more straight lines. Now I'm going to draw a straight line here that connects with this long one, about that long. Another straight line here, and another straight line over here. All right, now I'm going to draw some curved lines. I'm going to meet the tip of where I draw the edge of where I drew those straight lines. I'm going to draw a curved line like that, curved line down like that. Now a bigger curved line here, bigger curved line here, and some more curved lines over here on the tips of those lines. All right, then I can connect them with a straight line. There we go. All right, and for our last step, I'm going to kind of follow this line here, and as if it was continuing here, that line. And then I'm going to draw an angled line out to the side like this. All right, and that is the end of our upside down drawing. If we want to see what it is, go ahead and turn it around for our ship for Columbus sails to the Caribbean. Great job. All right, if you would like to do a more challenging version of this ship, I will put a link in the bottom. Now I'll show you an example of what a more challenging one could look like. Let me get it here. With more, look at all those angled lines, curved lines. This comes from a drawing book, Draw Boats, Ships, and Trucks and Trains. I'll put a link to a tutorial below where you can see how to draw a more complicated one should you choose to do that project at home this week for a little bit more of a challenge. Otherwise, I'll see you next week for our next drawing lesson. All right, bye-bye.